Matt Dunnigan, and a good number.
He's a good receiver, and he can get you outside. So he's one of those backs that can threaten the defense and have some success regardless of where it is.
Very short yardage needed for a first down. Wallace is in behind the line of scrimmage and spilled for a loss, and that type of a play in that type of situation can be questioned.
Sure, you've just had success going straight up the field, allowed your offensive lineman to pop somebody, make a seam. All of a sudden you go outside. And as well as anybody does in the CFL, the Edmonton Eskimos have a good pursuing defense. And they showed it there.
Louis Pasaglia will try to pin the Eskimos as deep as possible. Tony Hunter is back to try to run it as far away from his goal post as he can. Line of scrimmage, the Edmonton 50. Pasaglia's punt will bounce. A nice high bounce for Hunter. And he's still on his feet. Down about the 17, 18-yard line. First down, Edmonton there.
Tony Hunter showing you he's not easy to get an arm or even two arms on. Almost like a coiled spring as Tracy Ham gets ready to lead the offense and seems to be 100%. That ankle that he hurt last week in Winnipeg doesn't seem to be bothering him. He assured me before the game everything was fine.
The Lions, of course, have to concentrate on Ham and his running. Blake Marshall usually runs inside, goes outside for 3 or 4 tough yards. How dominant are the Edmonton Eskimos? Well, I think this stat says it best. They have outscored their opposition this season by a total of 304 points. And the only other team that has a plus total in this department is Calgary. Everybody else is minus. Now, the difference between Edmonton and Ottawa is 526 points.
It's scary.
Marshall gets 4. It's 2nd and 6. Flags are thrown.
We've got some movement by the defensive line. A couple guys a little antsy, want to get off and get that first blow.
Well, now the Eskimos are going to have 2nd down and about a yard to go.
Outside, BC number 40. 2nd down repeated.
A 2nd down the yard might be an ideal situation if you bring in your short yardage, or even if you don't, to play action and throw the football.
There is no Edmonton substitution in this play. But they called the play that would have been called had they brought in the blockers, and Blake Marshall didn't need them.
I wonder what Joe Galat's thinking about now. His offense could still have the football if they had been taking a more direct route in that 2nd and short. And everyone knows, or an awful lot of people seem to know, that the key to stopping the Eskimo offense is keep them off the field.
32-yard line, first down, Edmonton, and this will be Tracy Ham's first pass attempt, and he's going to throw it deep for Richards, who runs under it and catches it at the 35-yard line. Can't do it better than that.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tom Richards is known for his sneaky quickness, and that's what he does. Ham's going to roll a little bit to the right of your screen. Marshall blocks Parker down, takes away that pressure. Nice pocket for him, and Richards just hits that seam. The slot back, up the field, deep.
42 yards, Tracy Ham's first pass of the game. Here's a big one to Richards. In the flat, Marshall. 28-yard line to the 25 and into the 24. This is the Edmonton offense, top rated in the league, with Tracy Ham, Reggie Taylor, the top rusher, Blake Marshall, great blocker, short yardage man. If there's a weakness, well, you've heard it all year, maybe the outside receivers, about Craig Ellis and Tom Richards, tough inside. On first down, Ham right over the middle, Ellis inside the 5-yard line.
Straight drop back. Edmonton in a hurry-up offense situation. Rod Conop over the ball. And again, hitting a seam with your slot back.
Reggie Taylor hasn't hit the ball yet. Ham's going to try to throw. Slow and incomplete.
Well, I've heard some people say that one of the ways you can slow Edmonton down is force Tracy Ham to throw the football, that he may not be as solid a passer as he is a runner. Well, I don't know. I'd have to question that.
He may not run much tonight if he continues to have this kind of time to throw the ball. He won't need to run. Second and goal from the 5. Ham, man open, but the pass can't be caught. Just a little bit overthrown was Chris Johnstone, and so after marching the ball down the field impressively, the Eskimos are going to have to settle for 3 points if Jerry Corrick can make a field goal. Now, was that a bad pass, or should Johnstone have caught it?
Well, I think Tracy Ham would like the ball to be a bit lower, back out in front of Johnstone instead over his head, but I think it was catchable. But the big thing is there was no one close to him. That play in that short yardage situation or down near the goal line really puts the linebacker in a tough situation.
Corrick needs 12 points for a new single-season scoring record. He can get 3 of them here and chalk them up. 207 points on the season now for Jerry Corrick, and the Eskimos have scored first. The Eskimos moved to the BC 5 but could not go farther, and so it is a 12-yard field goal by Jerry Corrick that opens the scoring. Tony Cherry ran into his own man and then ran into Mike McLean, who made the tackle.
There's nothing better than starting a football game off by taking control of the football, doing what you want to do in your game plan, and the execution. And that execution of the drive was perfect until this spot. Tracy Ham knew he had Johnstone open and wanted to stick it in for 7.
Pat Dunnigan and the Lions have the ball at their 35. We have played 5.5 minutes in the opening quarter of a game the Lions must win to keep any playoff hope. Out of bounds. And the catch is ruled incomplete as David Williams brought in the football while he was out of bounds.
You know, out of bounds or not, it's a catch, and it's something we haven't seen BC do in a while. Go over top immediately. It's tough to do against guys like Andre Francis and Stanley Blair because they jump up in your face quickly and they're very physical. But you have to establish to be able to say, hey, we're going to do this, and we're going to keep coming after you.
Well, they've been criticized for not doing it enough. David Williams early in the season was red hot. Lately has been anything but. There's a bump and an incompletion. Intended receiver Darrell Wallace coming out of the backfield.
Sometimes we're going to see David Williams come out of the backfield also, almost like a third back, and what they're going to try to do is get the right type of coverage downfield that they think they can do.
Holding. BC number 53. Decline. 3rd down.
Left guard, former Ottawa Rough Rider Leo Groenwegen was flagged for holding, but the Eskimos decline it and set up the 3rd down punt by Louis Pasaglia. Line drive to Hunter. Flag down. Hunter down at the 46-yard line. They'll march back the other way with the penalty against the Eskimos.
No yard. BC number 18.
Sorry.
1st down.
Peter Vanderboss back in the lineup after supposedly tearing a piece off of his calf, an injury that he had. Makes the snap. Michel Bourgeot gives him a good jam. Well, a little bit of an acrobat in there. That's a tough job, boy, snapping the ball and trying to get your head up fast enough before somebody doesn't smack you in the head.
The flag came pretty late, and that's why it didn't seem like no yards to me, but it is indeed a penalty against the Lions. First carry for Reggie Taylor. He's into Lions territory at the 48-yard line.
Well, that offensive line of the Eskimos are coming off the ball with some success because Taylor was supposed to follow or get very close to Marshall, who went to the right. Taylor, seeing a gap to the backside between Bercheville and Pothier, decided a quicker route and maybe just as successful, and he took it. And the Eskimos now bring in their elephants, or more affectionately known as the short yardage.
And take out the leading rusher in the league, Reggie Taylor, which is a luxury. Marshall gets the first down. He is at the 43-yard line. While the BC Lions have had trouble defensively all season long and have continually heard about the Matt Dunnigan trade as the reason for this defense being less than it was last year. Up front, not much pressure. The linebackers missing Kevin Conner again tonight. Rob Moretto in there. Alondra Johnson is in the middle. And there is the secondary, constantly changing this season. Art Malone is back with Keith Gooch at the corners. Richards didn't turn around. Had he done so, he had another catch.
Exactly the same play that they ran earlier that Richards caught for 45 or 50 yards. Ham tried to get the ball in a little bit more quickly instead of lofting it over the coverage. Wanted to hit him exactly in that seam.
Second and 10 Eskimos from the BC 43. Defense spread out, trying to contain Tracy Ham, and he's content to just sit back there and throw if they'll let him. He's run out of it now, fires, man open is Ellis. First down, Eskimos.
Well, BC Lions bringing only 3 down linemen, dropping everyone off, in effect running a 34 defense, trying to get better coverage in the immediate zone or intermediate zone. Craig Ellison slot finds that soft spot. You watch people move towards Tracy Ham when he starts to, like he's going to run, and then he just pulls that arm up and pops the ball to Ellis.
4-man rush this time. Pass is thrown to Keith Wright. He's out of bounds near the 10-yard line. Another Edmonton first down.
Happy birthday, Tata. Hi, Mom, Donna, Lauren, everybody back in Windsor and Edmonton. We're going to win this one.
There you go.
Second time the Eskimos have been first and goal. It didn't work the first time. Look at the time Tracy Ham has to find his receiver.
Well, when you've got that much time to look downfield, they want to go left. There goes Taylor running into the flat. Ham looks there immediately. He's looking for that flat pattern. Now you see the receiver, Ellis, come across the middle. Secondary receiver. Now he goes to Marshall, who was just out in the flat. Third receiver. He's got the luxury to look at everybody without a bit of pressure. That offensive line is doing a great job early.
Second and goal from the 2. The blockers are in. Marshall, Mike Soles in the backfield. Marshall, the guy who usually gets it, flag down. Marshall isn't going to get in. The Lions stop him. What about the penalty?
Well, sometimes when you're not used to coming on a count, you're used to looking at someone else, you get confused. No, it's offense this time.
Well, the Lions have an interesting decision here. It is third down from right about the 2-yard line if they decline the penalty. Second down from the 7 if they take it.
That is an interesting decision having to make.
Procedure. Edmonton number 75. Decline. Third down.
Now you put the decision on the shoulders of Joe Farragalli. And he says, if you want to say that we can't get in from 2 yards out a second time, we'll try and prove you wrong. No field goal. Third down gamble for the Eskimos.
And this might be an ideal situation to put the ball into Marshall's stomach, then pull it back out and bootleg.
Crowd rallies to the side of the Lions. They give it to Marshall. He is over for the touchdown.
And then again, maybe you should just give it to Marshall and let him score, like he's done a whole bunch of times beforehand. I don't know if you'd use the term easy money, but anytime Marshall gets the football, he's always going forward. Look at him hit the hole down. Lower the body down and deliver the blow. That means he's not going to be knocked back. He may be knocked sideways, but his momentum and his leg power will keep him going ahead. And ultimately into the end zone.
So the Lions might wonder about refusing the penalty. Some of their fans undoubtedly do. Corrick adds another point as he chases a record. Blake Marshall's longest run of this season is 15 yards. He now has 9 touchdowns and he's run about a total of 15 yards. Normally, to get those 9 majors.
And normally we see him back on the kickoff team, so he gets a bit of a break here.
Tony Cherry diving to reach the 40-yard line. The Lions offense will try again, still searching to find a way to move the ball, which wasn't a problem for BC until a couple of weeks ago. But suddenly Matt Dunnigan and 11 other guys have just stalled.
You can't expect good things out of your offense when you go 2 plays and out. That's the type of thing you look for your defense. It's the common chant on the sidelines as Wes Cooper is down. But come on, defense, 2 plays and out. Get back out, let the offense have the football. In this scenario, it's been reversed so far, at least for the BC Lions.
Well, the Lions had the reputation as an offense with weapons, beginning with Dunnigan, Williams, Eric Streeter at 14 catches, 1 game. Good runners, Parker, Cherry, Wallace. Why can't they move the ball?
I don't know. If I could answer that question, maybe I'd be coaching.
Tony Cherry can come in for Darrell Wallace. Streeter and Williams, they've had problems inside. Lucky and Terrace starting at the slots today. Leo Groenwegen joined this group in the Gerald Roper trade with Ottawa. So here the Lions try again for the 40-yard line. Flags down. Dunnigan shotgun formation. A lot of bumping over on the sidelines, and another flag is thrown there as Stanley Blair and Eric Streeter were dueling.
The other thing, percentages might be on the offensive team's side when you do have aggressive corners, that if you throw the ball that way, as tight as they play, you are going to draw some flags. There's an interference call here, but there's also a procedure call against the Lions.
Procedure, BC number 23. Forward pass interference, Edmonton number 5. First down repeated, up 5.
Right to there, and you read it, guard. Slip all the way down.
Backside back.
Backside all the way back down.
Tell your tight
And
ends.
you come up normal.
They want
and
to
kick
come
out.
down.
Okay?
Gin.
So you got to tell those tight ends to come down on the backside.
Now, if I call off,
Okay.
because they're head up.
Pardon?
Coach?
No, you just stay in.
With the penalties, the Lions get an advance of 5 yards from the 45. Parker to the 50.
Both-time Parker's touched the ball earlier on in the game. 8, 9 yards, that time close to 5. I think maybe they should concentrate on running the ball inside the tackles, regardless of whether it's Cherry, Wallace, or Parker. Sometimes they stay against a defense that has the great mobility, like the Eskimos. You should go right at them, at their strength.
Well, they should here. Second down, less than a yard. They fooled around too much the last time, and they're going to try it again. And they pay for it once again with an interception. Second down, less than a yard. The Lions are greedy and want more and turn the ball over.
Dissolved to 7.
3.5 minutes left.
Caught in. Roll yellow.
First quarter. 2, 1. Edmonton with a quick lead, 10-0. We have 3.5 minutes left in the opening quarter. The Eskimos trying to win their record-breaking 15th game of the season and end the season, effectively speaking, for the BC Lions. After Larry Ruck's interception, Tracy Ham pitches to Reggie Taylor. Flag down. Taylor spilled after a short gain of 3.
Well, the flag will be on Chris Johnstone holding James Parker. Parker got the outside position on him, and Johnstone wanted to hook him so Taylor could go around the corner. And I think frustration is written all over David Williams' face. To be the primary receiver in that second and short situation, early motion, he's going to come back in, looks for the ball. Dunnigan is forced to throw back to the inside to Leckie. So you go from primary receiver to tackler. And I think it was a silly call.
At midseason, everybody is assuming David Williams is going to set records in a few categories. Touchdowns anyway, 11 of them in the first 10 games. Only 2 since then. He missed a game there to account for a 16th game. Finally, some pressure on Ham. He throws it away, and that's literally what he did. He threw it away. Not a receiver anywhere close. The Lions would like a flag down.
Oh, you can make a pretty good case for that. James Parker in very quickly. This looks like the James Parker role. Look at him upfield, pass the tackle quickly. Doesn't allow Tracy Ham to set up. Mac Moore's there to finish him off. BC Lions should be making a much louder and larger fuss about this.
Well, there were ineligible receivers nearby, the guys on the bench. But nobody who could have caught the ball. 2nd and 20. Ham overthrows Keith Wright. And suddenly what looked so easy for Edmonton on offense becomes difficult, and Tracy Ham will leave without scoring points this time.
Well, you saying that tells me how people expect Edmonton every time they get the football to go down and do what they have been doing, and we've seen them do a lot of. They are going to hit sticking points, as any good offense and defense does. And some of that will come from some coverages downfield by the BC Lions.
Eskimos content to let the clock tick away before snapping it to Jerry Corrick. Wobbly punt. Wallace all by himself at the 43. Eskimos converge. He runs away from them, goes outside to the 50. Before he gets to midfield, he is out at the 53-yard line. And this season, he has been more healthy and more consistent than the guy who played ahead of him in BC, Tony Cherry. Williams, good job avoiding tacklers. He is at the 46 with a first down for the Lions.
Well, that play starts off by good solid protection up front and allowing Matt Dunnigan to move just the slightest way to his left and look downfield. Williams is going to drive down. Now, ideally, he wants some separation from the coverage. So he pushes off, then stops in an area. Edmonton's playing a bit of a zone. Andre Francis is staying off him, so he's got a chance. And you wonder how long it's going to take for the Eskimos to start throwing different types of defenses, the different types of blitz that we've seen.
Nothing there on first down. Jeff Braswell took a late hit, a cheap shot, and no flag was thrown that I can see, but watch out for this all night long. Jeff Braswell, the former Lion who wasn't popular there, is less popular now as an Eskimo, and now a flag is thrown against him, I think, or a member of the Eskimos appealing on his behalf, as he was decked by 54 Rob Smith of the Lions, who got away with one.
Well, that small argument started the play before on the catch by Williams, because Smith came down again late on Braswell, gave him a shot, but didn't knock him down. And you wonder how long this is going to take for some of the BC Lions, who have made it known they're not totally happy with Jeff Braswell, to take some shots. Because all you really do, in essence, is you take shots at people, you're going to hurt your team. You got to be very careful.
Objectionable conduct. Edmonton number 44.
Well, so do the officials have to be careful if they see it when it happens, because a call like that that goes undetected might just encourage more. And you don't need extra encouragement on the Lions' part to get at this man.
I can't help but believing that Danny Bass is just telling him, look, back off, forget about it. We'll get them as a team, as a unit. Let's beat them that way.
Especially if the Lions see their season end tonight. The animosity between BC and Braswell could become the focal point of this game.
Well, that's why you have guys like Danny Bass, Stuart Hill on defense, is to tell them, look, we're out here for one reason. We're not trying to get in a fight with someone, we're trying to beat someone.
Parker into the middle of the line, past the 35-yard line.
But you know something the BC Lions could probably use a little bit more of, and if they don't use it to extremes, is be a little bit nasty. Go after some people and try to knock people on their keister. They're standing around.
They've been emotionless for 2 weeks, and if they can get revved up for any reason, it can't hurt them. These are the two most penalized teams in the league, quite apart from number 44 of Edmonton, so it doesn't necessarily necessarily take him to start things. Anthony Parker, good running inside the 20. And he's been the main offensive weapon for the BC Lions so far. A Jerry Corrick field goal and a Blake Marshall touchdown in the first quarter for Edmonton. The BC Lions have finally moved the offense into scoring position. They are first down as the second quarter begins from the Eskimo 19-yard line.
You see Matt Dunnigan still suffering from that thumb problem. Wrist is well taped up into part of the way through the thumb.
Dunnigan over the middle. Williams touched. Oh, he dropped the ball. Should have been a touchdown.
Well, he must not have had possession. Matt Dunnigan, who you won't see, looks immediately right and then snaps back right about now when David Williams is running his post. Puts the ball in perfectly. He's got possession of that ball over the goal line. All he needs is a second. It's a touchdown because you can't fumble in the end zone.
Well, you could have argued that he did catch it. You can't argue that he didn't drop it, though. And that's been a problem for the BC Lions. Dropped passes, rush on Dunnigan. Down he goes.
Yikes. From the backside, Brett Williams. Normally we see him in a tackle spot. Normally he's working in around the center guards. Not this time. Backside, a free run. And it's, you know, I'm glad to see that he doesn't try to bury his helmet in the back of Dunnigan's chest. He just goes for the good big hit. There they are. They're moving around again. They're starting to give BC those different looks, trying to confuse them.
It's a field goal try for Louis Pasaglia, and it is no good. 1 point, not 3. Pasaglia is upset. He's going to argue the call. And has to be restrained by his teammates. Louis Pasaglia thought it was good. Now, Neil, I don't want to confuse you, but we won't have to turn our watches back because after this game, we're jumping on a plane and going to cover tomorrow's game in Calgary. And when we land, it'll be an hour earlier than it is here. So just try to follow along.
Thanks, Dave.
Don't worry about what time it is. Craig Ellis, the intended receiver, his hand throws an incompletion.
Tom Richards had mentioned a couple of weeks ago to me that when Ellis was out, I was asking what made it so special is in respect to the relationship Ellis has with Ham on the field. And he said, you know, it's just something that has clicked from the very start of training camp. Ellis is coming off an injury, so it's going to take him a while to get back into the groove. He says it was remarkable. They always knew who was going to move where and when and why.
3-man rush on Tracy Ham. That means he's got a lot of room to do this if he wants. Ham is close to a first down, but apparently a bit short. And you saw good evidence there of what the Lions are trying to do with Tracy Ham. They're stringing out the defense.
Well, they're trying to mix him up with coverages. They're taking Clausen out. They've run a 30 before in this game in a second down situation when they feel that Ham is going to have to throw the ball. And they put Robin Belanger, number 9, in. Now, that's an extra defensive back. He can come up and play out of the linebacker spot. He can roam around. For all intents and purposes, he really becomes a rover. And I think that's what they're trying to do, mess Ham up in his coverages and his reads.
Well, the theory is he can run away from 4 as easily as 3. So if you only send 3, the 4th guy can be watching for Tracy Ham in the flat. And he didn't have any help when he got out there. He had to beat 4 tacklers. He almost got the first down, though, close enough to allow the Eskimos to go for it.
What a great time for the Lions to swing things around for them.
It is called a gamble, but the Eskimos don't look at it that way. They think they can pick this up without trouble. Movement on at least one side of the line. The ball is loose, apparently, and the Lions have it, and I don't see a flag. Why don't I see a flag?
Well, I think the movement was coming from Rod Conniff, the center. And if in effect he snaps the ball as he comes forward, there is no procedure. So he starts the play off. Watch very carefully. Here he goes. For all intents and purposes, the play is going. As soon as he brings the ball back up, Tracy Ham wasn't ready, and as you can see, the offensive line were still in their three-point stance. So a bit of a mix-up and a big break for BC.
So it sure was a gamble, and it failed. Backfired. First down, Lions. Edmonton 28. Something like that can get the Lions going. Dunnigan. Deep. Flag down. Ball is intercepted.
Well, that flag comes in the area again where David Williams is drawing the crowd. This time, Andre Francis is that corner of the field.
Forward pass interference. Edmonton number 14. First down.
Well, Andre Francis can run with anyone in the league as far as coverage goes, and we know they like to be physical. There's the one push. That's okay. Right there. That's where you're called. You can't make contact down the field. He's trying to get Williams out of bounds. Worked against him that time.
Just outside the 10-yard line, the Lions will stay in the shotgun. Ball drag! Thrown up for Streeter. There's bumping over there, too, but no flag. Stanley Blair covering Eric Streeter.
Well, you can't rely on interference calls to be your big plays throughout the game. They're going to help, and they certainly will get you in position many times, but you've got to be able to follow through. You've got to be able to complement those breaks you get with other big plays.
Dunnigan certainly more willing than he was last week to throw the ball down the field to the two wide receivers, both Williams and Streeter. Second down, just outside the 10. Same play. Williams this time. Another flag. Stanley Blair and David Williams doing battle this time.
I'll tell you what, the Eskimos brought everybody.
Edmonton number 5 in the goal area. First down, 1 yard line.
There's Mark Norman on the line of scrimmage. There goes Don Wilson at halfback. He's blitzing. Now the ball's in the air. Williams is trying to react to it. That tugging and pulling on Williams' left arm. That's why the flag.
Well, who says pass interference can't be your best play? It is this time for the Lions on this drive. 2 calls, first and goal. Dunnigan to Parker. He won't get in. Dan Bass met him right at the line of scrimmage.
Well, I'll tell you what, Danny Bass out of his linebacker spot, moving around as he does so many times, and as he is allowed to do, as long as that's in that scheme of things, he ends up in the right place when the ball snaps. And I'll tell you, he is in Parker's chest fast.
Second and goal from the 1. A properly executed quarterback dive by Matt Dunnigan should be able to get it. Let's see if he'll keep it himself or hand the ball off or maybe throw it. Yes, it's Dunnigan over the left guard. Flag down. With the penalties against Edmonton, the Lions have 6 points.
Offside. Edmonton number 75. Decline. Touchdown.
Look for the surge. Mandrich is right in the middle. Almost seems like, or it must have been, he must have been lined up offside because he certainly didn't move. He was in that yard area.
In the first half, another flag is thrown. The convert is good. Edmonton by 2. Pat Dunnigan talking to his receivers about what's happening on those plays that bring flags. He says, we'll keep doing it. They got to keep throwing the flag. And Neil, the way Dunnigan has thrown the ball, he's thrown perfect passes, not to be caught necessarily, but to make the Edmonton cornerbacks react in the manner they have.
Sure, you have to get the ball in the area to even get an interference call. You're absolutely correct. Wetmore sometimes doubles as a down lineman and linebacker. His job, get inside, break down inside the wedge, and then slide laterally to get in front of the runner, and he did it perfectly.
It took the Lions a quarter to get into this game, but they are back in it now, and the Eskimos, having looked a bit bored, will be asked to turn it up a notch. Reggie Taylor does that with a first down run for close to first down yardage.
You have to get your linebackers into the play more, and that has to come from help from your defensive line. The first fellow that met Taylor in that run was Belanger. Downfield, somebody at least has to get a shot or an arm or a helmet on him to slow him down. Offensive line's doing a nice job of making that contact along the line of scrimmage and then scraping into linebackers and getting him out of the play.
It was a first down by Reggie Taylor. Ham throws over the middle. Nicely done by Richards, especially if he can hold on to the ball. He is inside the 35-yard line with a big first down by Edmonton.
Here we go to the slot backs again. Tom Richards spread out a little bit wider. He's going to go out and then find the seam. See him looking to see where the linebackers are going to drop. He knows where they go. He doesn't. Good concentration. The ball almost pops out. Got the presence of mind to slow down.
Tom Richards in this game has joined the 1,000-yard club. Ball thrown out the far sideline. Keith Wright dancing around. And the Lions are watching him do it as he goes down at the 20-yard line for another first down.
While Wright is dancing around, Reggie Taylor comes out of his the backfield spot, flies downfield and tries to get a hit on somebody. Great average. That's the key to that stat.
And right down the middle, Ellis is at the 3-yard line. It'll be first and goal, Eskimos.
Ham throwing the ball like a dart, finding the spots with the help of his receivers. They're the target. He's just zipping it in there. And he's getting rid of the ball quickly, too. It's not as if he's standing back there with lots of time, though he has that, too. But it's like 4 steps and bingo, the ball's gone as the big guys come in for some extra beef.
Well, is it Blake Marshall's turn again? Indeed it is. He is over for the touchdown, his second of the game.
Simple as 1, 2, 3. You know who's going to get the ball. The other two backs go in motion. Hill and Souls. Souls hits up in there. No one to the outside. He makes a bit of a pass, but it doesn't have to be a big one for Marshall. What a bull.
Torek looking for his 5th point of the game. He needed 12 coming into this game to break Dave Ridgway's single-season scoring record. So he's almost halfway there with his second convert added to his game-opening field goal. And the Eskimos are back up by 9.
Tracy Ham running the Eskimo offense to perfection, using all his tools, every receiver. Earlier on this season, it was said that Tracy Ham now knows how to read and watch films better. You know, you go in and you sit down and plant yourself in front of the video machine and you look at a lot of tape, but if you're not looking at the right things, it doesn't do anything for you. Tracy Ham now has acquired that knack to look at the right spots, read the defenses, find the areas to expose.
Well, we've seen quarterbacks in this league who can run like Tracy Ham, but not all of those quarterbacks can do what he's doing here tonight. Given time, pick receivers out like apples off a tree, and Ham is hardly one-dimensional. He can do it all. Tony Cherry with the ball. Eskimos bring him down at the 35. Special teams play by Mike Souls.
Well, just to end that conversation on Tracy Ham, Joe Faragelli says he hasn't even reached his potential. He's just still a pup with lots to learn.
Okay, first down, eh?
There's another one of the Eskimo pups, Marshall, just into his career and making quite an impact, so to speak.
Well, let's see if Matt Dunnigan continues to test Andre Francis and Stanley Blair, and keeps trying to bring flags out of the officials' pockets. Dunnigan faked the pass, then faked the Statue of Liberty handoff to Darrell Wallace and ran it himself, or maybe just decided to keep it himself when he saw what might happen to Wallace.
Great action. Action up front with Stuart Hill. Stuart Hill's usually a rush end. Look where he's lined up. Rob Smith steps down, closes him down because he knows the play is going to his right. Now come back at him. Hill just sort of explodes into Smith there.
Dunnigan gaining short yardage to the 39. Pumps once, throws it, and Williams has it for the first down near midfield.
It's not often that you're going to have enough time against the Eskimos to pump and then reload. Out of the shotgun formation, backs are creeping up. They block. They have to block. Parker, good job outside on Braswell.
They ruled that Williams got right to midfield, so it's first down Lions there. The Lions offense, if it can continue to move the ball, can make this a game. We're not sure whether BC can stop Edmonton, but the Lions can generate some offense. This could be an interesting evening. Parker by himself, Braswell and Blair to beat, and he hopped over Blair. Braswell hit him late. Fans want a flag. This time it will not come.
Well, if that kind of stuff continues, something ugly is going to happen because that was unnecessary. I mean, somebody is just going to go after him. See Parker in motion, goes to the flat quickly. Linebacker doesn't get there. That linebacker's Braswell. He gets hung up. Parker goes over Blair. Good 2 yards out of the field mark, and he gets pushed.
Well, they missed one on Rob Smith earlier, and they missed that one on Braswell, so at least they're even, but they won't treat it that way. Each team thinks it owes the other team
Oh, it never works out
one of
that
those
way.
shots. And meanwhile, Parker's still down on the play. Braswell didn't hit him hard. It was that he hit him at all, and Parker wasn't expecting it.
Wes Cooper will come in and line up at the fullback spot with either Cherry or Wallace, who have been subbing in and out as the game has gone on. Right now it happens to be Darrell Wallace, who's been a great story for the Lions this year.
And look who's in there at the slot. John McDonald from Simon Fraser, who went to training camp as a statistician. Wound up putting on the equipment one day and becoming a candidate to make the team. And this late in the season, John McDonald plays. Our statistician, David Moyer, was lifting weights earlier, reading about John McDonald.
Earlier today.
Williams has a long run. Can't quite get there. But Matt Dunnigan is doing a great job of throwing the ball up and letting his receivers run under it. And whether they catch it or not, the defenders of Edmonton are having a tough time deciding whether to make a play or not.
Well, Parker back in the game, Cooper out, but when you've got receivers like Williams and Streeter who have that explosiveness and speed to be able to go in what seems to be high gear into a higher gear to run under a football. And it just takes them a little longer to get back to the huddle.
Second down, ball just inside the Edmonton 42. Up for Streeter, Blair and Streeter battling for the ball. Flag back at the line of scrimmage. And it's against BC. .301 left, a 9-point Edmonton lead. The Eskimos are showing some respect for Louis Pasaglia. They don't want to give him a shot at a field goal, 47-yarder. So they take the penalty and move the Lions out of field goal range, but give the Lions second down again. Williams to the left, Streeter to the right. Here comes the blitz. Picked up nicely. Dunnigan throws it for Williams, and he had to try to adjust to the ball after he made his cut and could not do that. Francis on the coverage. It is third down, and the Eskimos' decision to take the penalty looks good.
We have to come up with another word that describes defensive players coming. Blitz usually just means a couple of people. When you've got Braswell and Bass and Don Wilson and Norman, it's got to be another word to describe that. Assault, maybe?
20-yard line. First down, Edmonton there.
Well, in the past week, kicker Jerry Cork of the Edmonton Eskimos has been on crutches, and he was out earlier warming up. The arch of his foot, the muscle in the arch, has either been sprained or damaged, and it's very painful. He's not kicking off. Marco Sincar's been doing that for the last number of weeks, and his duties are simply punting and field goals.
209 points. 6 more to tie Ridgeway and 7 to break the record.
Again, an artist at work in the Edmonton Eskimo camp, Dwayne Mandrusiak, the pack Eskimo, eating up Matt Dunnigan.
Over the middle, Ellis on 2 knees makes the catch for a first down, and it looks as though that play is there all night long.
Well, they're not roughing up the slot backs when they're coming off the line of scrimmage. Watch how easily he gets downfield. He's going to go out. Now he's going to curl back around the coverage. The halfback drops to the flat. The linebacker goes straight back. Just throw and catch.
Reggie Taylor on 2 Lions, cuts back into Moore, McMoore, as it were, and that play goes nowhere.
Good pursuit by the Lions, especially when you consider it's McMoore coming from one of the interior spots, hustling and getting to the outside. But wouldn't you think that the BC Lions would put a linebacker up in the line of scrimmage and try to jam those slot backs, give them a harder time?
This is thrown right to Keith Gooch. Nothing more needed than to be there when the ball got there, and it's another turnover, and Lion ball, Edmonton territory, flag thrown. Rough stuff after the fact, and it's still going on.
Can't let it distract you from the good play by Gooch, who comes into the game with 5 interceptions and just does a nice job of breaking on the ball and reading Tracy Ham and his movements.
Unnecessary roughness. BC number 8. First down.
So the ball was momentarily in Edmonton territory, but it's now back at the Lions' 48-yard line after Rick Ryan's penalty and Keith Gooch's interception. Has crept into this game, and it seems to have benefited the Lions more than the Eskimos. They're sharper than we've seen them recently. Parker goes up in the air, can't come down with the ball.
Well, the Eskimos haven't backed off in their pressure, and the BC Lions on this situation do a good job of reading. Pockets nicely formed by the offensive line, but Keith Gooch comes off his cover or out of his area of protection and responds to the ball after it's thrown.
It's a World Series that will always be remembered for what happened between games 2 and 3, and not necessarily for what happened in any of the 4 games that were played. The Oakland A's sweep the San Francisco Giants. The World Series is at last over. Matt Dunnigan, a lot of room to run if he wants. He throws it. Streeter is there on the right side of the yardstick, which was a problem for BC last week, and it is a first down.
Well, Streeter will work his way up, knowing that it's either a semi-sprint and he needs some time. Now come back a little bit to that first down marker, always knowing that you've got to get to that mark. See Brett Williams line up as a defensive end, come free. This time he is from the backer spot. He's blocked first by Wallace and second by Smith.
Streeter also over 1,000 yards with that catch. Dunnigan from the shotgun. It gets him in position to pass quicker, and that helps against this rush, and he finds David Williams, and Andre Francis rolls around on the ground, apparently shaken up. Yes, he's staying down.
Well, some of that twisting motion, it's not always the receiver that gets hurt. As a tackler, you hook up, and depending on where the other person's body is, that rotating motion can often get into your stomach and chest area, and as you can see, can't be that comfortable.
Francis needs some help as he walked all the way down into BC territory, well away from both teams. You can see him there. Mike Hildebrand will come in to replace him, but they have to get Francis off the field first. This shotgun formation seems to make sense against a defense that can be as overpowering as Edmonton's.
what else makes sense is not only it's in the shotgun, but it's almost like a drop and roll if he was taking from the center to go to that spot and then sprinting out. It allows him that much more time. Plus, he's not standing back there. And Dunnigan throws the ball well, running left or right.
Speaking of Edmonton injuries, Joe Faragalli was asked about all the action Tracy Ham is getting late in the season with first place clinched. Some would say Rick Warman might be a better call to start this game.
Well, you know, it's easy to speculate and say things, you know, that ever come to your mind when you're sitting at home in your Chesterfield. It's easy, you know, but I live with it 24 hours a day. Now, I'll give you a perfect example. It's like being between a rock and a hard spot. If I said what you just said, wow, we completed everything we want now, Tracy won't play till the 19th. He comes out on the 19th, and they say, boy, that guy's stupid. The guy he's not sharp, he's not crisp. Okay, and so then it was a bad decision. If I play him and he gets hurt, and they say, gee, the guy's dumb. You know, how do I know that? I don't know that. I attack each game as a game. I don't worry about anything except this game tonight, and then eventually we'll get to the 18th game, and then eventually we get to the final. And I can do only what I can do, and that's it.
It makes good sense. I mean, it's very difficult. You tell your players not to look down the road. Well, I think as a coaching staff, you prepare the same way for the BC Lions now and whoever else you have to play.
Well, Andre Francis won't play for a little while as he is shaken up and took his time getting treatment. A former BC Lion. He's not the only one, of course, wearing green and gold.
That adjustment puts Mark Mathis to the corner, and Norman goes to the halfback spot, and Hillebrand, number 24, comes in at safety where Norman was.
Dunnigan gives to Wallace. Good running by Darrell Wallace, the Lions Rookie of the Year. He's got a first down.
Well, the run was outstanding. It was set up awfully well, too. The blocking on the Eskimos, you're going to see it take place here. Motion. Here we go. Wallace spins around. Watch the blocking coming up. Watch Bass right here. Knocked down. Ruck's knocked down. Everyone's taking someone and trying to put them down on the carpet. Ball's tipped at the line of scrimmage. That's why that play was slowed down. A couple old teammates, Jim Mills and Brett Williams. Yeah, whoop. Mills is a big guy. He can straighten you up.
Don't. Come on. On third string quarterback for the other team. Put me down, Mo. Don't get hurt. Oh.
As we told you earlier, you will hear from some of our producers and directors in the truck this evening. Another deep one, and Williams is trying right to the last minute. Incomplete.
Andre Francis is a little bit confused. Took a shot in the head, and Dr. Cameron, one of the team doctors for the Eskimos, was sitting on his left, asking him the normal questions, you know. What's the speed of sound?
Louis Passaglia missed his first field goal try, this one from 35 yards out, to put the Lions in double figures on the scoreboard. Line drive is right through there, and it is now 17-11 in favor of the Eskimos. We're in the final minute of the first half.
Well, the Lions offense doing a pretty good job of holding on to the football, mixing up what they're trying to do and the execution that they've had and had success with so far. Bit of play action, a little bit of razzle-dazzle, throwing the ball short, but more importantly, airing that ball out deep to both Streeter and Williams. And let Williams do what he does well. Become spectacular. Make those diving catches.
55 seconds left for the Eskimos to go the other way and score. Ham gives it to Taylor. Reggie Taylor to the 40-yard line. He gained 5.
I think it has to be a Lions fear right now. as you said, not let Edmonton go down and make any more impact on the scoreboard. Single point, 3 points, doesn't matter.
Call it a gain of 6 for Taylor. They put the ball closer to the 41, 2nd down and 4 as the clock moves under 40 seconds. Marshall dropped the ball. That is incomplete. An incomplete pass. And the Lions are showing some emotion. Art Malone with the big hit on Blake Marshall. And the Eskimos will have to punt.
Well, Marshall takes a heck of a shot here. He's concentrating on the football right there. Malone just jacks him straight up. Marshall just hops back up. Malone, who sat out a game last week, came up and, hey, he laid a great lick on Marshall.
Clock stopped, 29 seconds left. Torek nothing to rave about with his 2 punts so far. Lions are going to call a timeout.
BC.
It's got to be fun for a defensive back, especially a corner who oftentimes gets criticized, is out on an island in coverage situations when it is man coverage. And this time Malone just drops to the flat, doesn't go deep, and eyes the quarterback. And that ball started coming towards Marshall. You know, who's starting to salivate, could just feel a big hit coming.
Well, the Lions are trailing in the game, but this has been their best quarter of football in at least 3 weeks. In the second quarter, they've outscored the Eskimos by 4 points. Torek's end-over-end punt. Wallace watches it bounce. Back toward the Eskimos, who retreat. Wallace picks it up at the 40, and there is a flag. Tom Richards is hot. He's running out in the field arguing and shouldn't do that.
Got to stay in control.
Eskimos want the bounce back rule to be called.
No yards. Edmonton number 22. First down.
Joe Faragalli's hot too. Well, as cheap as they come, those 15 yards. Eskimos were ringing the ball. Now they're going to get them to call it a 5-yard penalty and not 15, which is a little better.
Well, who says arguing doesn't have a place, huh?
The ball bounced back on the first bounce. It's only a 5-yard penalty.
When you're trying to get away from the football, the bounce is going back now. He's trying to get out of that area. That's the right call.
Now we'll still call it 5 cheap yards. Screen pass, Parker can't handle it. Cutting in all sorts of pressure with 10 seconds left.
A pretty good call, but even on a screen pass, you have to allow yourself to set up a little bit so the play can form. Dunnigan didn't have a chance to breathe there. Usually we see Dunnigan backpedal and do a good job of acting. That wasn't acting. That was Greg Stuman.
Well, on this second down play, one would expect a long pass, probably to Williams, maybe to Streeter, and the way Dunnigan has been floating him in the air, there's always the chance for pass interference. There it is. No good as they play volleyball. Andre Francis, or it's Mathis there, not Francis, against David Williams.
Mathis does a good job having inside position and times his jump. Usually David Williams is so good in getting off the ground just when the ball gets there. His advantage in height and also leaping ability. Look at Mathis. Head's turned. He knows right where that ball is. He isn't watching Williams. He's watching the ball.
And that ball was placed right where Matt Dunnigan wanted it.
On the button.
Williams is either going to catch it or there's going to be interference. There's little chance it's going to be intercepted, and so what? With only 2 seconds left, the Lions will try it again, probably. Not as deep this time. Williams cuts it up underneath. Now he's going to look to run for a while. He flips it out. And John McDonald can mark his own stat.
It's all 7.
It is 17-11. Edmonton over BC at halftime.
Caught in. Ball yellow.
The Edmonton Eskimos led by 10 at the end of one quarter. The lead is now 6, which tells you the BC Lions have hung in there, held their own, and have a chance as the second half begins. And the Lions showing some good emotion, which I think helps them. They're also controlling, as you said, they must Tracy Ham. Now that's perhaps because he prefers to be controlled. He's only run once, but some pressure is helping.
Well, it's the pressure, you know, you don't have to stack someone all the time to be successful. You know, you don't have to sack a guy all the time. Getting pressure on someone is just about as effective. Make him throw the ball when he doesn't want to. You can achieve the same thing. But what you have to do is start getting more physical with the inside receivers. Richards and Ellis are having a great time catching the ball.
195 yards passing for the Edmonton Eskimos, and that means Tracy Ham hasn't had to run. Maybe the Lions have to get the sort of pressure that makes him run, because you can't give him the kind of passing yards that he had in the first half either. The Eskimos will be receiving the kickoff to start the second half. Keith Wright, Tony Hunter are back deep. Kickoff to Hunter at the 15. Quickly to the 40. Tony Hunter is underway at midfield. Pasaglia, as he has done on more than one occasion this season, makes the touchdown-saving tackle.
And you read it, guard. Slip all the way down.
Backside back.
Backside all the way back down.
First down, Reggie Taylor gets the ball. And he rips to the 33-yard line. First down, Eskimos.
I think the game plan for BC initially is not to give Edmonton any field.
Ham on first down, passing. Here comes some of that BC pressure. Tracy Ham running and gaining to the 25-yard line, being a little more careful with his body than would otherwise be the case. And I think that probably is the biggest answer to the question, why Tracy Ham with first place locked up. They want him to play. They don't want him to be hurt, obviously, and so they'll probably discourage the run and tell him to play it safe as he did on that one.
The problem is telling someone to play it safe when you actually get in a situation and someone's bearing down on you to turn on the run. It's tough to think about that. You don't. You react.
Taylor down at the 21-yard line. Another first down for the Eskimos as they come out of the gate in the second half, intent on scoring 7 points and dulling the enthusiasm of the Lions.
Well, they started off with that great return by Hunter, and that really set the tempo, and they hope continues to set the tempo for the Eskimos in the second half. On the other hand, BC wanted to, I'm sure, corral them down there, beat them up for a couple plays, and get the offense off the field.
Ham deep. This is Walter Murray, and he can't quite get it. 6'3". Pretty well thrown ball by Ham, though.
Oh, right in the spot, over the outside shoulder, in between the receiver and the sidelines, so no one could get in the way. It was either going to be complete or incomplete because Keith Gooch in coverage was trailing. Nice touch on the ball.
And time to throw it. Second down 10 from the Lions 21. Loose after the fact. Quick Parker stuck out an arm and got Tracy Ham on the ground for a loss of about a yard.
Well, Rayford Cooks will be on the right side of your screen. He's the defensive end. Now he's going to work upfield. You can see almost Ham wanted to throw it quickly. What Cooks does not do is step inside the blocker to give Ham that corner to run outside. He forced Ham to step up. Stepping up means he runs into Klassen and Moore.
Yeah, Klassen is the guy who actually made the tackle, and so Jerry Korek will try a field goal from 30 yards out. 29 is where they'll spot it. Rick Warman holding. Korek's kick is up, and it is good. The lead is 9 points. The fourth quarter about to begin, and the BC Lions have to come up with something. They need a win to keep their playoff hopes going. Right now, they need to stop the Eskimos, who are in BC territory. And a little play action, looking deep, throwing it deep. Murray can't get there.
Boy, Tracy Ham just launched that ball.
Walter Murray looks like a wide receiver. 6'3", about 200 pounds. He runs the way, I haven't seen him catch a ball yet, mind you, but he has the look of somebody who would be born to play that position.
Well, if Ham could ever involve his outside receivers, be it Wright, Tony Hunter, or Walter Murray, like he does the slot backs, boy, oh boy.
Second down, they're a long way out for a field goal. They would like some yardage here. They'd like 10 is what they like, and the ball is dropped. Should have been caught. Tom Richards doesn't do that often, but he knows he cost his team a first down there. Korek is coming on.
But once again, the BC Lions choose to bring only 3 rushers. And against the Eskimos offensive line, you're going to have a tough time getting anyone through, to the point where there's even an offensive lineman backing off, and I believe it was one of the guards, maybe Randy Ambrosi, looking to see if he could help somebody.
Jerry Korek, if he makes the field goal, or even if he gets a single, will have a new record. It's a 51-yard field goal attempt. For a new single-season scoring record, he's going to be short. The Lions will give him the record, yes. 1 point, and that'll do it for Jerry Korek. It's not the way he wanted to do it, but he passes Dave Ridgway in the record book with his 216th point of this season. And he's got a whole other game to go after this one.
Oh, I know. And he's going to get some more points. But you're right. No one wants to break a record by missing something. The achievement's still there. He's had a great season. He's going to make sure that it doesn't go through.
So you've just advanced the argument for changing the rule and not giving him a single point on that play. He's not happy with it.
Nobody hasn't given the point back yet either. But I know something he won't give back either is that ball.
You were there for the switch, though.
So it was important for the Lions to hold the Eskimos to 1 point there. Suttigan again throws it up. Francis running with Williams. A collision at the end of the play.
Staying with the shotgun formation, trying to buy a little bit more time. You know, it seems like Matt Dunnigan misses Jan Carinci an awful lot. Carinci played 11 games this year. He had 532 yards, but was always there. I mean, that was that inside receiver like the Richards or the Ellis to go to, and it's a confidence factor. And I don't see the BC Lions slot backs playing a big part of the game. That's not because they haven't got the ability. It's just, you know, it's their scheme, and maybe it's a simple factor, but it's not confidence.
Well, he hasn't thrown the ball to the slot backs tonight. Nice defensive play. Eric Streeter, intended receiver Stanley Blair, dove in front of him and knocked it down.
Well, that was a great defensive play. It looked, for all intents and purposes, like Matt Dunnigan has a first down. Watch the movement. Blair backs off just before the snap of the ball. Blair just makes a great jump on the ball when Dunnigan turns to throw it. Super defensive play.
Pasaglia to punt. Hunter to return for Edmonton. Nice punt by Louis. Going to back Tony Hunter up to his 15-yard line. Hunter close to the 30.
There's a good look inside the television truck. Everything comes that you see from there, and on the occasion you'll hear Larry Brown, our director. He'll be directing, as you can hear him directing now.
The signals are being called by one Tracy Ham, who gives the ball to Reggie Taylor, spilled in the backfield by Quick Parker, lost back to the 25.
James Parker's been a big part of this game. He's been in on sacks. He's chased down. I said this earlier that he's been more like the James Parker of old, and he has good reason to get excited. Left side of your screen. Watch him step across, hit that gap inside the block, and gets to the running back. So they call him quick.
Hey, watch the close quarter.
They rush Ham this time. He throws over the middle, and Richards is as wide open as he can be for the first down near the 50-yard line.
Boy, you'd almost have to think someone made a mistake in coverage with Richards being that wide open. Watch how things are getting set up. You see the stunts up front by the BC Lions trying to create a mismatch. That didn't work. Protection was excellent, and Richards just sort of waltzed into that middle area.
One of the problems with that pass rush is that Jerry Beasley and Rick Klassen, two Lions, bumped into each other trying to rush the quarterback. And that gave Ham the time to find Richards, who is well over 100 yards tonight and over 1,000 this season. Ham flings it again to Richards. Similar play, similar result. First down inside the 40.
It's a real knack to be able to go downfield and find and understand where the openings are going to be and place yourself there. It comes from watching a lot of film or a lot of tape and before the game takes place and understanding how the defenses work and recognizing the defenses when you come off the line of scrimmage as you go down into your pattern.
Different game plans for these two teams. The Lions have not completed a pass to a slot back, and that's 10 that Tracy Ham has thrown to Tom Richards and Craig Ellis. Mind you, you could make the comparison the other way. The Lions have lived with their wide receivers tonight, and the Eskimos have not done much to Keith Wright or Walter Murray. Parker on Ham, and Tracy knew it. He knew he was going down and wanted to do so without bothering his ankle. Parker will help him up.
Well, Parker working to the outside. You're going to see just the top of your screen. He gets position and gets that right arm of his up underneath the blocker, which means he's already passed and has the leverage point. And then he just, again, as he did before with Reggie Taylor when he's following the run, cuts straight across. Doesn't waste any time getting upfield.
Second and 10 for the 44. Second and 16, right? Ham not going far here. The ball is out of his hands as he runs into Rob Moretto.
Tom Richards has been diagnosed a couple of bruised ribs. Doesn't look like it's anything serious. I'm sure he'll be back in the game, but they can afford at this point maybe to sit him down, let Marco Sincar have a few downs.
The 5 yards Tracy Ham gained will allow Jerry Cork to kick the field goal. Well, he tried one from 51 yards earlier, but seeing what happened to that, I don't know if they'd have let him do it again, but 46 yards, sure. Try for three. This one makes it. Will be just barely. No, wide again. They have to get the ball. The Lions give another single point to Jerry Cork, and the Eskimos inch their lead to 13. It's 25-12, and the Lions are still alive.
Go Lions! Go BC!
Fine in. Go David.
Time running out for the Lions. They do have the ball in Edmonton territory at the 45-yard line. Dunnigan lofts it over the head of his receiver and into the arms of Edmonton defender Mark Mathis. It is another interception. Dunnigan has thrown 3 of them, and that looks like it for the BC season.
Almost like Dunnigan was confused. He makes a read, and then almost like he changes his mind right here, expecting a receiver to do one thing and not getting the result. Mathis had some big shoes to fill with Enos Jackson playing that halfback spot, had been playing very well. He got hurt, and once again, he's congratulated by Don Southern, one of the defensive coaches. They've got some great depth and great talent sitting in the wings. And
we saw the great play he made on David Williams when Andre Francis was hurt. Now Mathis gets himself an interception.
course, Mark Norman's from UBC and Mike Hildebrand's from the University of Calgary. They wanted to know the score, and I'm sure they had a little wager on it. Well, the winner of that wager is Mark Norman, because UBC beat University of Calgary 34-24.
And Reggie Taylor, and Reggie's out at the 50-yard line. As the clock ticks down to a record-breaking Edmonton victory, it'll be their 15th of the season. They have a chance for 16 next week when they close out their season. Then it's get ready for the Western Final against Calgary or Saskatchewan. Taylor again past midfield of the BC 54-yard line. You know, it's easier to list the categories that the Eskimos do not lead in the CFL to try to find a potential weakness in this team. They are not first in passing yardage, though they passed for a lot of yards tonight. They are 5th. Punting, they are 6th. Penalties, well, they're the most penalized team, so Joe Faragalli would like to change that. Pass protection, they're tied for 5th. But in only one defensive category that means anything are the Eskimos not the leaders, and that's quarterback sacks, where they're 3rd. Another catch by a slot back. Marco Sinkar takes some tacklers with him near the 20-yard line.
Yeah, it's amazing to pick up that stat sheet we get from the CFL office every week prior to the weekend games. As Marco Sinkar shows you just how much fun it can be to win, and how unhappy you can be when the season is winding down. It's seasons like this that might put thoughts into a lot of people's minds of early retirement.
Well, it's been the most turbulent season the BC Lions can remember, with ownership changes, question marks in the front office, flag down as Reggie Taylor runs the ball. Still with a game to go, nobody's too sure who owns the Lions or for how long. The players, I think, are past the point of worrying about that, but they do grumble about this and that and the other thing. There have been some very questionable game plans produced by the Lions. This is more like it tonight. They've given the Eskimos a battle at least, and the BC fans can be
Offside. BC number 36. Still first down.
somewhat happier this week than they were the last 2 weeks. But now, of course, with the season over, no playoff hopes for BC. All the rumors will start about who comes back next season, and it'll take a while to talk about those. And to the end zone for Ellis, and the ball is intercepted in front of him by Ken Watson with 1:25 remaining. There he is. He doesn't have the ball now, but he had it when it counted.
Well, a situation where it was called on for man coverage, and Watson in tight coverage. Little play action, tries to pull everyone in. Parker didn't buy it all. Watch the receiver slow down just a little bit. Ellis, having to break for the sidelines, allowed Watson that 1/2 step to catch up, and he was the receiver. Seen leaving the building at one point, return.
Ball to the 25-yard line, 1:25 to go, and Williams and Streeter will be running down the field. First of all, they hand the ball to Tony Cherry, or maybe the first time tonight. Yes, his first carry. He was the designated import at the start of the game. Cherry got a first down to the 40.
Cherry wearing that shield to protect that eye that was damaged in an extracurricular activity that made him miss last week's game.
This is for a couple of uninvited fans who are on the field.
Just about now, anything will get you upset.
I think Jake Ireland is more concerned with the timekeeping right now.
That might have been one of the best hits of the day out in the corner of that security guard on one of those fellas.
Okay, everything's straightened out now. Dunnigan on the run. And he bumped right into an official. That's the best hit of the night.
Well, it's a matter of opinion, but sure Matt Dunnigan didn't want it, and then a flag flies out of a pocket.
There might be some action around number 44 as this game winds to the last minute.
Whoa. Got to start attaching some headgear onto those hats. A little face mask, plastic face mask, Mike. It's got to be a scary thought, huh? Standing there ready to, you're looking at something in the offensive line, all of a sudden this big helmet comes at you.
Objectionable conduct. BC number 16. Second down.
Well, number 16 is Matt Dunnigan, so an official objected to him and put the ball back at the 35.
Hey, you got the dude punch him in the head.
All alone over the middle is little John McDonald. And little Mark Norman takes him down at the 35-yard line. Now that'll get some respect for the stats man.
You saw it just as they brought in the huddle. Matt Dunnigan before said something to him. Almost like, get open in the middle, I'll throw you the football.
39 yards.
Makes for a good average.
They covered two fans who ran on the field closer than they did McDonald. Flag down right as the ball was snapped. Good catch by John McDonald.
Say, that was a heck of a catch. Beforehand was a great game, but that catch just was outright good. He had to readjust his body, get up off the ground for it.
Well, the catch is going to count, too. He's got two of them now.
Straight back. Put some zip in this ball. Watch the adjustment here by McDonald. That's a heck of a catch.
Decline. Second down.
He throws it to him again.
Where has he been all game? In the last minute of the game, he could get close to 100 yards.
3 plays ago, he was going to be invited to camp next season as a stats man, but
You watch, he'll end up in Edmonton somehow.
and this time Don Wilson steps in front of Cherry. There's a flag down. Dunnigan chases Wilson and gets him. Braswell and Tony Cherry. Dunnigan steps in. Braswell grabs Dunnigan's mask, and here we go. Jeff Braswell in the middle of it. And the whole Lions team is over here. The Eskimos making sure Braswell doesn't get involved. They get him right to the bench. Meanwhile, there was a offside penalty against Edmonton, and the interception isn't going to count.
Hey, Jay, I love y'all. Edmonton, spend that time. We're bringing it home.
But he's got to get back in the field.
Well, I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess Farragelli's going to send him back out. Ball will still be in BC's possession. It'll be at the 13-yard line with 28 seconds to go.
Offside. Edmonton number 46. First down repeated.
Now, there is a script for a miracle here. They score, they kick the convert, they kick the ball off, recover it, and score again and win the game.
Nice thought.
That's the script. Schrader tried hard. He got one hand on it. Only 4 seconds off the clock.
I asked Joe Glad a few weeks ago if he enjoyed the change and transition from being up sitting behind a desk most of the day from the general manager spot to go down in the field and work with the players, and he said, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I wonder if he still thinks it's been a lot of fun.
Well, Dunnigan has been doing this all night long. The Eskimos have had real trouble trouble tackling him behind the line of scrimmage. Clock shows 18 seconds left.
Well, if they can jam it in the end zone now, they may have a shot at that miracle you were describing a little bit earlier.
A timeout has been called. No indication yet by whom. Again, a question about the clock. There were 24 seconds when that play began, and I think the clock started late, and it seemed to me that they ran it a little bit long after the play to try to make up for that.
Wanted to even things out a bit.
So 18 seconds it will remain. Here we go with the Lions trying to get to the end zone. Dunnigan throws it, and Streeter got tangled up with Stanley Blair and turned around to try to get the ball.
Well,
It took 1 second.
Well, that can be a design situation where the receiver gets up and tries to get hooked up with the cornerback, and the quarterback is going to throw, in this case, the ball closer to the goal line so he can come back and catch it without having a problem with the corner.
Second down from 4 yards away. Again, he gets this one right in front of Stanley Blair, and it's a BC touchdown.
And you have to replay. And ready red. And white to red. Here it is.
Same situation. Braswell sneaking up. Doesn't come. Matt Dunnigan simply on 3 steps throws again to the outside where Streeter can make that adjustment, hoping that he's got enough separation from Stanley Blair. And in that case, he did just enough. Good catch.
14 seconds left. The convert will put the Lions within 6 points. And obviously they have to recover the kickoff. Again, we stop play to look at the clock.
I think Joe Ferrielli believes he's have a hard time believing that only 5 seconds.
Well,
4 seconds have gone off the clock in 2 plays.
And go back to the other play, which was a rather lengthy one with Dunnigan scrambling and running. 24 seconds when that started, so a lot has happened in the last 10 seconds of play.
He's got to be thinking it's not over till it's over.
Well, if you remember a game between BC and Saskatchewan, that is exactly right. The Lions are alive for a playoff spot coming into this game only because they produced one other miracle at Taylor Field. So the situation is simple to say and maybe tough to do. BC must recover its kickoff and then score another touchdown to win the game, and there's 14 seconds showing on the clock. A lot of other folks against the Saskatchewan Roughriders who would be in a playoff spot by now if they hadn't let one slip away against the Lions. And let's remember that Saskatchewan lost the game to Ottawa too, which has delayed the playoff plans of the Green Riders. The ball is up there loose. Who's got it?
BC.
Seconds left. Edmonton defense back on the field. Hold on.
Well, watch the Eskimos come off. They'll move and try to make a block on the BC players coming downfield. Everyone wants to get a shot at somebody. Pasaglia put that ball right in the right gap, and he got the old English spin on it, made a kick up at the right time. And you don't think there'll be a fuss about the clock now if they go down and score.
Williams and Streeter down the field. Matt Dunnigan is hit as he throws the ball, and Williams isn't anywhere near it. And it's almost intercepted with 3 seconds left. Did David Williams get held up?
Well, Dunnigan threw his arms in the air like saying, look, you get bumped out, continue your route, don't stop on me, I'm going to throw the ball deep.
Well, they got time to do that once more and either have it caught or have an interference call, but they didn't come close to either one the first time.
Well, it's a long throw to put it in the end zone, hoping for a tip.
They got Streeter and Williams both to the near side. Williams is offside, if you can believe it. It doesn't matter. Dunnigan is sacked by Brett Williams, and the ball game is over. The Lions gave it a shot at the end. Let's see their playoff hopes fizzle out, and the Edmonton Eskimos celebrate a record. Victory number 15 of this season.
BC, decline.
You know, you'd almost have to say, isn't it typical? They get one shot, and they blow that one shot away by something as simple as going offside.
Don Matthews, the ex-head coach of the BC Lions, sees his old team fall out of playoff contention, and there are the head coaches saying so